Well, another feather then in Captain Virat Kohli's cap. Joining us now, Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, live on the show. Mr. Gavaskar, good to have you back here on NDTV, sir. Now, first up, you had predicted a 3-0 series whitewash for Team India against Sri Lanka, and now it's happened. Was it really evident from day one of Test 1 that this particular Indian team is going to be just too strong for the Lankans?
Well, actually, it was evident from how the Sri Lankans played against Zimbabwe just maybe a couple of weeks before the Indian team came down there. The Zimbabwe team had beaten them in the one-day series 3-2, and even in the Test matches, they almost ran them close. Sri Lanka played exceedingly well in the fourth innings to get 381 to win that Test match. But it was clear at that stage that the Indians were just going to be too good for the Sri Lankan team, and that's exactly how it turned out.
Absolutely. Even if you look at the difference in the ICC Test rankings, number 1 versus number 7, this particular Sri Lankan team was never perhaps going to push or challenge Team India very hard in this series. But what we saw, a 3-0 series whitewash, a series sweep, so was it more a case of perhaps a very disciplined Team India sticking to their strategies, sticking to their game plan and deciding to play ruthless cricket no matter what or who they were up against?
That was the most impressive aspect. They never took the foot off the pedal at all. They wanted to win by as big margins as possible. And the fact that in the second and the third test, they enforced the follow-on and won by an innings. So that just tells you how ruthless the team has become. And I think that is a tribute to the spirit in the team, to the kind of attitude and determination that Virat Kohli has brought to this team. So full marks to the team for winning in such a comprehensive manner. It really has been a fantastic win in the series. A lot of people will turn around and say that this is not a great Sri Lankan team, not even of international standard. But the Indians do not pick the Sri Lankan team. They do not pick the opposition. So they play the opposition that's put up on the field, and they beat them comprehensively. So full marks to the Indian team for having done that.
Right. It's also very, very good, sir, to see the way that most of the team members, in fact, all of them are responding to, the trademark cricket that Virat Kohli wants to play. He's come into press conferences and said, we just want to continue sticking to our strategies, even if that means playing boring cricket, because all we want to do is win match after match after match. Now, if you speak about particular individual players, Shikhar Dhawan, for one, is someone who came back into the team. He was out of the Test team, and now he's ended up as the highest run getter and the man of the series. Do you think he's cemented his place in the side? It will be very interesting to see what happens when Murali Vijay is fit. And who do you pick between Murali Vijay, KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan?
The best thing for any team is that not everybody feels secure, because then you tend to become a little complacent. It's always good to have competition. And the fact that Murali Vijay is going to be around very soon, and that will mean that Shikhar Dhawan does not relax, KL Rahul does not relax, and that will only mean a good opening stands for India. So while Shikhar Dhawan has done enough to be picked for the next test, Murali Vijay will probably have to wait. I know that this Indian team has got some sort of a method where they say that somebody who is injured and who goes out of the team, when he's fit, he's got to get his place back. I think Murali Vijay will have to play a lot of first-class matches to prove his fitness, because that is what Anil Kumble had also said down, that if you're injured, you've got to prove your match fitness by playing in the domestic competition. So Murali Vijay will have to do that, and then be in the reckoning for a place to get back his place in the Indian team.
Right. Another particular individual player, sir, that I wanted to talk to you about was, of course, Hardik Pandya. A number of questions were asked, a number of eyebrows were raised when Hardik Pandya was given his Test cap in the beginning of the series in the first Test in Galle. A lot of people questioned if he was ready really to play Test cricket. Yes, of course, he's doing well in ODIs and T20s, but is he really ready for Test cricket? I remember asking you this question, sir, and you had given a great answer where you said that it's not a question of a player being ready for Test cricket. You have to find out whether Test cricket really is meant for that player. Now looking back at what Hardik Pandya has done in his debut series, sir, would you say he's cut out for Test cricket or still too early days?
Early days, but I think he's done enough to suggest that he will be successful at the Test level as well. I think he's a bit like David Warner. David Warner was considered more of a T20 player, and look what a record he's got now as a Test player. And I do believe that if Hardik Pandya takes the same kind of route that David Warner's done, plays a lot of first-class matches, he will also be successful at the test level.
All right. Also, currently, India have now won 8 consecutive test series. They're second only to Australia in the all-time list. Can this particular Indian team, sir, become world beaters under Virat Kohli? Of course, big tests await them in South Africa and then later on in England.
I think they're well equipped to be so. Look at their new ball attack. I think the main problem for the Indians overseas, apart from the fact that their batting does not always come to the party, is that they have not had the bowling to take 20 opposition wickets. Particularly the lower order of the opposition is what has thwarted Indian teams in the past. But now, with Kuldeep Yadav, with the kind of quick bowlers that India has, I think they can blast away or bamboozle the tail-enders. So yes, I think India is well equipped in the batting as well as the bowling front to win overseas as well.
Right. I also wanted to ask you a couple of quick questions, sir, about Yuvraj Singh not being in the ODI squad. But before we get into that, very quickly, one final question on India's test win. Do you see the ODIs against Sri Lanka being played out differently, or is this the trend that's going to continue, you think?
I think India should win the series as well, but perhaps not with the same kind of ease as the test matches. Because you've got to remember that Sri Lanka beat India in the Champions Trophy, so they'll be pretty high from that performance. And I think, therefore, India will have to watch out against the Sri Lankans. It's a whole different game. The red ball and the white ball. The red ball does a lot more than the white ball does. And so the Indian bowlers are not going to be able to get the same kind of purchase from the white ball that the red ball has given them in test matches. They might not be able to contain the Sri Lankan batsmen as they have done in test matches.